Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have you ever wondered why one person keeps returning to your heart, even when you try to move on? Why, out of billions of people on this earth, Allah allowed your paths to cross? Was it only a coincidence? Or is there a wisdom that your eyes cannot see yet? My dear brothers and sisters, no heart moves without the permission of Allah. No soul becomes attached by accident. The one who created every heart is the one who turns every heart. But here is the question that changes everything. When Allah places your name in someone's heart, does it always mean marriage? Or could He be preparing something far greater than you ever imagined? Tonight, we will uncover 5 powerful Islamic truths that reveal why Allah allows certain people to enter our lives, why some remain, why others leave, and how every connection carries a purpose written by Allah long before we were born. Stay with me until the very end, because the final lesson may completely change the way you see love, waiting, and Allah's perfect plan forever. And if this reminder benefits your heart, subscribe to Deenpedia and join us for more reminders that bring us closer to Allah. Bismillah. Let's begin. 1. Allah never places your name in a heart without wisdom. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that every emotional connection has only one meaning. The moment someone begins thinking about them, the moment someone shows kindness, the moment someone keeps remembering them, they immediately assume, this must be the person Allah has chosen for me. But life is much deeper than that, and Allah's wisdom is far greater than our assumptions. As believers, we must remember something beautiful. Allah is Al-Hakim, the most wise. He never does anything without purpose. Not a single person enters your life without His knowledge. Not a single meeting happens by accident. Not a single goodbye is outside His plan. Every meeting carries wisdom. Every delay carries wisdom. Every conversation carries wisdom. Every reunion carries wisdom. Even every separation carries wisdom. Sometimes we understand that wisdom immediately. Sometimes it takes years. And sometimes we may not fully understand it until we stand before Allah on the Day of Judgment. That is why a believer learns not to judge life by what they see today, because Allah is writing a story whose ending only He knows. Think about your own life. How many people have crossed your path? Some stayed beside you for many years. Others appeared for only a short time. Yet both may have changed your life forever. Perhaps one person spoke just a few kind words when your heart was breaking. You still remember those words today. Perhaps someone encouraged you to pray when you had almost given up. Perhaps one reminder brought you back to the Quran. Perhaps one act of kindness restored your hope in people. They may never know what they did for you, but Allah knows. This is because Allah does not measure importance the way we do. We often measure people by how long they stay. Allah measures them by the purpose they fulfill. One sincere conversation can change an entire future. One honest piece of advice can save someone from years of regret. One righteous friend can become the reason another person returns to Allah. One believer can become the answer to another believer's silent dua. This is how Allah sends His mercy through people. Sometimes the blessing itself is not money. Sometimes it is not success. Sometimes it is not fame. Sometimes the greatest blessing Allah sends is a person who reminds you to have patience, a person who encourages you to trust Allah, a person who believes in you when everyone else misunderstands you, a person who quietly makes dua for you without ever telling you. Imagine that. Somewhere, someone may be asking Allah to ease your pain, to forgive your sins, to guide your heart, and you may never know until the Day of Judgment. That is how beautiful Allah's plan can be. When Allah places your name in someone's heart, it is never meaningless. There is always wisdom behind it. But here is something equally important. Not everyone who enters your heart is meant to stay forever. This is a lesson many people struggle to accept. Sometimes Allah places your name in someone's heart because they will walk beside you for the rest of your life. And sometimes He places your name there only long enough to teach both of you something important. Maybe they inspire you to become a better Muslim. Maybe they help you discover strengths you never knew you had. Maybe they become the reason you finally turn back to Allah after years of feeling distant. Or perhaps they teach you one of the hardest lessons of all, that your heart was never meant to depend on another human being more than it depends on Allah. Sometimes Allah allows disappointment not to punish you, but to purify you. Sometimes He allows tears, because those tears bring you to sujood. Sometimes He allows loneliness, because loneliness teaches you to find comfort in remembering Him. How many people have become closer to Allah after a heartbreak? How many beautiful du'as have been made in the middle of the night because someone walked away? How many hearts have become softer because life did not go as planned? What first looked like pain later became guidance. What first felt like loss later became protection. What first seemed like the end later became the beginning of something much better. That is why believers never judge Allah's plan too early, because Allah sees what we cannot see. We only see today's disappointment. Allah sees tomorrow's blessing. We only see the closed door. Allah sees the danger behind that door. We only see the waiting. Allah sees the perfect time. This is why Islam teaches us not to become obsessed with trying to read hidden signs into every interaction. Not every smile is a promise. Not every feeling is a guarantee. Not every attachment is meant to become marriage. The unseen belongs to Allah alone. Our responsibility is not to guess the future. Our responsibility is to obey Allah in the present. If someone enters your life, treat them with kindness. Speak with honesty. Respect their dignity. Protect your own dignity. Stay within the limits that Allah has set. Do not allow emotions to make you disobey the one who gave you those emotions. Because if that connection is truly good for your dunya and your akhirah, nothing in this world can stop Allah from bringing it to you. No distance can stop it. No family can stop it. No misunderstanding can stop it. No obstacle is greater than the decree of Allah. And if that person is not written for you, no amount of chasing, no amount of waiting, no amount of worrying, and no amount of forcing will ever change what Allah has already written. That is why real peace begins when you stop trying to control people's hearts and start trusting the one who controls every heart. Remember this beautiful truth. When Allah places your name in someone's heart, He already knows the beginning of that story, the middle of that story, and the ending of that story. Nothing surprises Him. Nothing confuses Him. Nothing happens outside His perfect knowledge. He knows the tears you have not cried yet. He knows the joy that is still on its way. He knows the prayers you whisper when no one else can hear. He knows the future you cannot imagine. So instead of asking, "Will this person stay with me forever?" ask yourself a better question. Is this connection bringing me closer to Allah? Because any relationship that brings you closer to Allah is already a blessing. And if Allah wills for that blessing to remain, no one can take it away. And if He chooses to remove it, then trust with all your heart that He is making space for something far greater than you can see today. That is the peace of true faith. That is the beauty of trusting Allah. And that is why a believer never fears the future. Because the one who writes every heart also writes every ending with perfect wisdom. 2. Allah can place your name in a heart before you ever meet. One of the most beautiful realities about Allah's plan is that He is never limited by time. Long before you meet someone, long before they know your face, long before they hear your voice, Allah already knows both of your stories. He knows where you were born. He knows every tear you have cried. He knows every mistake you regret. He knows every dua you whisper after everyone else has fallen asleep. And He knows every step that will eventually bring two lives together, if that is what He has written. We often think relationships begin the day two people meet. But Allah's planning begins long before that moment. He prepares hearts before He creates meetings. He changes people before He changes their circumstances. He teaches lessons before He opens new doors. Sometimes you wonder why you suddenly feel the need to become a better Muslim, why your heart begins to love prayer more than before, why you become more careful with your words, why you start leaving sins that never used to bother you, why your priorities quietly begin to change. You may think these changes are happening randomly, but perhaps Allah is preparing you for a chapter that has not yet arrived. Because Allah does not simply bring two people together. He prepares them first. Imagine planting a seed. You do not expect fruit the next morning. The seed first grows beneath the ground where no one can see it. Day after day, something is happening. Roots are growing. Strength is developing. Life is being prepared in silence. From the surface, it looks as if nothing is changing. But beneath the soil, Allah is creating something beautiful. Our lives often work the same way. Many of Allah's greatest blessings begin in places that are completely hidden from us. While you are asking Allah for a righteous spouse, perhaps Allah is teaching that person patience. While you are asking Allah to heal your heart, perhaps He is healing theirs. While you are making dua to become worthy of a righteous marriage, perhaps they are making the very same dua somewhere else. Neither of you knows the other exists, but Allah knows both of you. Subhanallah. How amazing is the plan of Allah. There are people walking on this earth today who may one day become an important part of your life. Yet today, they are complete strangers. You pass each other without noticing. You live in different cities, perhaps different countries, perhaps you speak different languages. Yet if Allah has written that your paths will cross, no distance is too great, no map is too complicated, no timing is too difficult. The one who created the heavens and the earth does not struggle to bring two hearts together. But there is something we often forget. Allah does not only prepare the meeting, He prepares the people. Think about this. If you had met certain people 5 years ago, would you have been the same person you are today? Perhaps not. Maybe you were less patient, less mature, less grateful. Maybe they were also not ready. Maybe they still had lessons to learn. Maybe both of your hearts still needed to grow before they could recognize the blessing standing in front of them. This is why Allah's timing is always perfect. Not because waiting is easy, but because preparation takes time. Allah never rushes what requires growth. Sometimes we become frustrated because we compare our timeline with someone else's. We see friends getting married. We see families growing. We see other people's lives moving forward. Then we quietly ask ourselves, Ya Allah, what about me? But the believer remembers that comparison blinds the heart. You only see the part of another person's story that is visible. Allah sees the entire story. You do not know what they struggled with. You do not know what tests they carry, and they do not know yours. Allah writes every life differently, because every soul has a different journey. Never think that your waiting means Allah has forgotten you. Allah never forgets the servant who keeps calling upon Him. Every sincere dua is heard. Every tear is seen. Every lonely night is known to Him. Sometimes Allah answers your dua immediately. Sometimes He delays it because He loves the moment you continue calling upon Him. And sometimes He gives you something even greater than what you originally asked for. That is why patience in Islam is never passive. Patience is an act of trust. It is waking up every day believing that Allah is working even when you cannot see it. It is continuing to obey Him while the answer has not yet arrived. It is refusing to lose hope, because your Lord never breaks His promise. If Allah has placed your name in someone's future, He is fully capable of bringing that future to life. But He will do it at the right time. Not the fastest time. The right time. Because what comes too early can sometimes become a burden instead of a blessing. A heart that has not healed can struggle to love correctly. A person who has not grown can fail to appreciate the gift Allah has given them. A marriage entered without spiritual maturity can face difficulties that patience could have prevented. Allah knows all of this before we do. That is why His delays are often acts of mercy. Perhaps today you are asking, why haven't I met the right person? Maybe the better question is, what is Allah preparing inside me while I wait? Perhaps He is teaching you sincerity. Perhaps He is removing pride from your heart. Perhaps He is strengthening your faith. Perhaps He is helping you build a relationship with Him that no future relationship can replace. Because the strongest marriages are not built upon excitement alone. They are built upon two hearts that already know how to trust Allah. Never underestimate what Allah can accomplish in a single moment. One meeting can change your future. One introduction can change your life. One unexpected conversation can become the beginning of a story you never imagined. The one who united the hearts of countless believers throughout history is still the same Allah today. Nothing is difficult for him. Nothing is impossible for him. So if your heart feels heavy because you are still waiting, do not let waiting turn into despair. Let waiting become worship. Fill your days with prayer. Fill your tongue with dhikr. Fill your heart with hope. Continue becoming the person you pray to be. Leave the unseen to Allah. If He has placed your name in someone's heart, they will not miss what He has written. And if He has not written that story, then know with complete certainty that He is protecting you from something your heart cannot yet understand. Trust the author of your life more than your own expectations, because Allah never writes an incomplete story. He writes the most beautiful ending for those who continue to trust Him, obey Him, and place their hope in Him alone. 3. When Allah places you in someone's heart, He first works on your own heart. Many people spend their lives asking Allah to change someone else's heart. Ya Allah, make them love me. Ya Allah, make them think about me. Ya Allah, bring them back. These are sincere feelings that many people experience. But there is a beautiful reality that many of us overlook. Before Allah changes someone else's heart, He often begins by changing yours. Because Allah is not only interested in bringing two people together, He is interested in preparing your soul. He wants your heart to become a place where faith is stronger than fear, where trust is stronger than anxiety, and where love for Him comes before love for anyone else. That is why, before many of Allah's greatest blessings arrive, something begins to change inside you. You become different. The same things no longer satisfy you. The same sins no longer feel comfortable. The same distractions begin to lose their attraction. Without even realizing it, your heart starts searching for something deeper. You begin praying with more focus. You begin making dua with more sincerity. You become more careful with your words. You forgive people more easily. You become softer, more patient, more grateful, more aware that every blessing comes from Allah alone. These changes may seem small, but in the sight of Allah, they are enormous, because He is preparing your heart to carry blessings without letting those blessings pull you away from Him. Think about how Allah prepares the earth before the rain falls. The soil is softened. The air changes. The clouds gather. Everything is made ready before the rain finally arrives. Our hearts are often prepared in the same way. Allah softens them before He fills them. He empties them before He blesses them. He heals them before He entrusts them with something precious. Many people only notice the waiting, but they fail to notice the transformation happening inside them during that waiting. Perhaps a year ago, you would have reacted with anger. Today, you choose patience. Perhaps before, you depended entirely on people. Today, you depend more on Allah. Perhaps before, your happiness depended on receiving a message from someone. Today, your peace comes from opening the Quran. That is not an ordinary change. That is Allah rebuilding your heart. Sometimes we become upset because Allah delays what we desperately want. But imagine receiving a great blessing while your heart is still filled with pride. Imagine entering marriage while still carrying the wounds of past relationships. Imagine receiving love while your heart is still unable to trust. Would that blessing remain a blessing, or would it become another test? Allah knows the answer. Allah knows the answer. That is why He prepares the heart before He gives the gift. Because blessings placed inside an unprepared heart can easily become burdens. This is one of the greatest signs of Allah's mercy. He sees weaknesses that we cannot see. He knows wounds that even we have forgotten. He knows fears we hide behind smiles. He knows the silent pain that nobody else notices. And instead of rushing us toward what we ask for, He lovingly prepares us for what we need. Subhanallah. How many times have you looked back at your life and realized, if Allah had answered my dua immediately, I would not have been ready. Perhaps you wanted someone who later proved to be wrong for you. Perhaps you wanted an opportunity that would have taken you away from your faith. Perhaps you wanted something with all your heart. But Allah, in His infinite mercy, protected you from it. At the time, it felt like rejection. Later, you realized it was protection. This is why the believer learns to trust not only Allah's answers, but also His delays, because both come from the same Lord, the Lord whose mercy is greater than our understanding. Sometimes Allah removes certain people from your life because they have completed the purpose for which they came. Their chapter has ended, but your story has not. Sometimes He allows loneliness because He wants you to discover that your greatest companion has always been Him. Sometimes He closes every human door so that your heart finally knocks on the door that never closes, the door of Allah. There is something beautiful that happens when a believer begins relying on Allah more than people. Fear becomes smaller. The less desperate you become for people's approval. You stop chasing attention. You stop forcing conversations. You stop trying to convince people to stay, because you begin to understand something powerful. The people whom Allah has written for you will never need to be manipulated into remaining. And the people Allah has not written for you cannot be kept by force. What Allah gives through mercy can never be improved by desperation. That realization brings incredible peace. It frees your heart from constant worry. Instead of asking, "Why are they not choosing me?" you begin asking, "Am I becoming the person Allah wants me to be?" That single question changes everything, because your focus shifts from controlling people to improving yourself. You begin praying not only for a righteous spouse, but for your own righteousness. You ask Allah to make you more patient, more honest, more forgiving, more humble, more thankful, more pleasing to Him. And this is when something remarkable happens. Whether marriage comes tomorrow or years from now, you have already become richer than before, because your greatest achievement was never finding another person. It was finding a deeper relationship with Allah. That relationship will remain with you forever. Every human relationship has an ending. Some end through distance, some through misunderstanding, some through death. But your relationship with Allah is the only relationship that can never disappoint you if you continue holding on to Him. That is why Allah often teaches us to love Him first, not because He wants to keep blessings away from us, but because He wants every blessing to lead us back to Him. If your heart belongs to Allah first, then no person can destroy your peace. No rejection can destroy your worth. No delay can destroy your hope. Because your identity is no longer built upon who chooses you. It is built upon the fact that Allah chose you to be His servant. Never forget this beautiful truth. If Allah has placed your name in someone's heart, He is also shaping your heart at the same time. He is teaching you lessons you cannot yet see. He is removing qualities that would have harmed you. He is planting qualities that will benefit you for the rest of your life. So while you are waiting for Allah to move someone else's heart, do not ignore the miracle He is performing inside your own. That miracle may be the greatest gift of all, because a heart that truly knows Allah never feels empty for long. It remains hopeful in hardship, grateful in ease, patient during waiting, and peaceful in every decree. Such a heart is already successful. And when Allah decides the time is right, He will place every person, every opportunity, and every blessing exactly where it belongs. For no one prepares hearts more perfectly than Allah, and no preparation is ever wasted in the sight of the one who knows every secret hidden within the human heart. 4. The heart that Allah fills with peace never has to chase people. One of the most exhausting feelings in this world is trying to hold on to someone who keeps slipping away. Many people spend years chasing love, chasing attention, chasing replies, chasing reassurance. They constantly wonder, why haven't they called? Why are they becoming distant? Why do I always have to be the one trying? Slowly, without realizing it, their happiness becomes connected to another person's actions. A single message can make their whole day. A delayed reply can ruin their entire night. One kind word lifts them up. One cold response breaks their heart. This is an exhausting way to live, because your peace was never meant to be controlled by another human being. Allah created your heart for something much greater. He created it to find peace in remembering Him. The more a heart depends completely on people, the more fragile it becomes. Because people change, people become busy, people make mistakes, people disappoint each other. Even the people who sincerely love you cannot fill every empty space inside your heart. Only Allah can do that. This is one of the greatest lessons a believer can learn. No human being was created to carry the place that belongs only to Allah. When we expect another person to become the source of all our happiness, we place a burden upon them that they were never created to carry. Sooner or later, disappointment follows. Not because they are bad people, but because they are human. Only Allah is constant. Only Allah never changes. Only Allah never forgets you. While people sleep, Allah remains awake. While people become distracted, Allah never overlooks you. While people may fail to understand your tears, Allah counts every single one. He hears every silent prayer. He knows every hidden fear. He understands every pain that you cannot explain to anyone else. That is why real peace begins the moment your heart returns to its true owner. Something beautiful happens when a believer truly places their trust in Allah. They stop living in fear of losing people, not because they stop loving people, but because they love Allah more. This changes everything. You still care. You still appreciate those whom Allah places in your life. You still pray for them. You still treat them with kindness. But you no longer worship the relationship. You no longer make another person the center of your world. Your center becomes Allah. When that happens, your heart becomes lighter. You stop forcing conversations. You stop begging people to understand your worth. You stop trying to convince someone to stay. Because deep inside, you know something that brings incredible peace. What Allah has written for you does not require desperation. It requires trust. Think about the birds. Every morning they leave their nests without knowing exactly where their food will be. Yet they fly with complete trust. Day after day, Allah provides for them. The believer's heart should have that same confidence. If Allah can provide food for every bird, rain for every land, air for every living creature, do you really think He cannot bring the right people into your life? Do you really think He cannot place love where it belongs? The one who controls every heartbeat does not struggle to unite two hearts when the time is right. That is why chasing people often leaves us exhausted. But trusting Allah always leaves us at peace. There is another truth that many people discover only after years of heartbreak. The harder you try to force what Allah has not written, the more tired your soul becomes. You replay conversations. You search for hidden meanings. You overthink every message. You create countless imaginary situations inside your mind. You wonder if one more effort will finally change everything. But sometimes Allah is asking you to stop chasing what is running away, so that you can receive what is walking toward you. How many blessings have we delayed because we refuse to let go of what Allah was asking us to release? Sometimes our hands are so tightly holding on to one person that they are not open enough to receive what Allah has prepared. Allah knows this. That is why He sometimes removes people before He sends better ones. Not because He enjoys seeing us hurt, but because He knows we are settling for less than what He has written. A parent may gently remove something dangerous from the hands of a small child. The child cries because they do not understand. The parent smiles because they can already see the danger ahead. Our relationship with Allah is often like that. We cry over closed doors. Allah sees the harm behind those doors. We cry over unanswered du'as. We cry over unanswered du'as. Allah sees the better answer that is still on its way. We cry over people who walked away. Allah knows who is walking toward us. This is why trust is one of the greatest acts of worship. Trust means believing that Allah's decision is wiser than your emotions. It means accepting that His knowledge is greater than your understanding. It means believing that if something leaves your life by His permission, then it is also left according to His wisdom. And if something enters your life by His permission, it is entered at the perfect moment. Never think that you have to convince the right people to value you. The people whom Allah places in your life as a mercy will recognize your value without endless chasing. They will respect you. They will appreciate your sincerity. They will make an effort, because relationships require effort from both sides. Healthy relationships are never built upon one person constantly running while the other keeps walking away. Allah created love to bring tranquility, not endless confusion. That does not mean every relationship will be free from tests. Every marriage has challenges. Every friendship has misunderstandings. Every family faces difficulties. But there is a difference between normal trials and constantly forcing a connection that Allah may never have intended. A believer learns to recognize that difference. They make sincere effort. They make dua. They act with patience. Then they leave the outcome with Allah. Because after doing what is right, there is nothing more beautiful than saying, Ya Allah, I trust your choice more than my own. These words carry incredible power. They remove fear from the heart. They remove desperation from the soul. They replace anxiety with contentment. They remind us that Allah never overlooks the servant who relies upon Him. Perhaps today you feel forgotten. Perhaps you wonder why someone no longer speaks to you the way they once did. Perhaps your heart feels heavy because someone you cared about has become distant. Remember this. If their distance brings you closer to Allah, then even that distance carries mercy. If their absence teaches you patience, then even that absence has purpose. If losing them helps you find Allah more deeply, then what seemed like a loss may actually become one of the greatest victories of your life. Because the greatest gift is not that someone remembers your name. The greatest gift is that Allah remembers you with His mercy. The greatest blessing is not that someone chooses you. The greatest blessing is that Allah chose you to believe in Him. When that truth settles deeply inside your heart, you become free. Free from constant fear. Free from endless worry. Free from the need to chase every person who walks away. Your heart becomes calm. Your soul becomes steady. Your trust becomes stronger. And that calmness itself becomes one of the most beautiful signs of faith. For the heart that belongs completely to Allah never remains empty. Allah fills it with hope. He fills it with patience. He fills it with light. And at the right time, He fills it with the people who are truly meant to walk beside it. Because the believer who trusts Allah never chases what is not written. They simply continue walking toward Allah, knowing that every blessing written for them is already on its way, arriving at the exact moment their Lord has chosen. 5. If Allah has placed your name in the right heart, nothing can take it away. As we come to the end of this reminder, there is one truth that every believer should carry in their heart. It is a truth that brings peace to the anxious, strength to the broken, hope to the one who has been waiting for a long time, and comfort to the one who is afraid of losing someone they love. That truth is this: if Allah has truly placed your name in the right heart, nothing in this world can remove it unless Allah Himself wills it. People may try to separate you. Distance may stand between you. Years may pass. Circumstances may change. Life may become difficult. But if Allah has written that two lives will come together in a way that is good for their faith and their future, then no power on earth can stop His decree. This is why believers place their trust in Allah, not in circumstances. Because circumstances change every day. People change every day. Feelings can rise and fall. Plans can succeed or fail. But the decree of Allah never makes mistakes. Sometimes we spend so much time worrying about what might happen tomorrow that we forget who is already taking care of tomorrow. We fear losing people. We fear rejection. We fear that someone else will take our place. We fear that we have missed our opportunity. But fear becomes much smaller when your heart remembers that Allah is Al-Wakil, the perfect trustee. He is managing your life with wisdom that is beyond your imagination. Think about how many times in your own life something happened that you never expected. Perhaps you met someone by complete surprise. Perhaps an opportunity appeared when every door seemed closed. Perhaps a problem was solved in a way that no human being could have planned. Looking back, you realized, only Allah could have arranged this. The same Allah who guided you then is guiding your future now. Never believe that your life has become too complicated for Allah to fix. Never believe that your situation is too broken for His mercy. Never believe that your heart is too wounded for Him to heal. The one who created your heart knows exactly how to restore it. He knows every crack inside it. He knows every disappointment, every unanswered question, every lonely night, every silent tear that fell onto your prayer mat. Nothing is hidden from him. Sometimes people ask, how will I know if the right person is truly written for me? The answer is not found in trying to read the unseen. The answer is found in trusting the one who knows the unseen. Islam does not teach us to become obsessed with signs. It teaches us to become attached to Allah. Because when your relationship with Allah becomes strong, everything else finds its proper place. If someone is written for you, Allah will open the doors in a way that is pure, lawful, and filled with barakah. He will make a way where you never imagined one could exist. He can soften hearts that seemed impossible to soften. He can remove obstacles that looked impossible to remove. He can create opportunities that no human being could ever plan. After all, is there anything difficult for Allah? He created the heavens without pillars. He created the oceans. He created the stars. He created every human heart. If he wishes to unite two hearts for his wisdom, who can prevent him? And if he decides that a certain path is not good for you, who can force it to happen? This is why the believer finds peace in surrender. Not the surrender of giving up, but the surrender of complete trust. The believer says, Ya Allah, I will continue making dua. I will continue improving myself. I will continue obeying you, and I leave the result in your hands. That is real tawakkul. It is doing your part while believing that Allah will always do what is best. Perhaps today you are waiting for someone. Perhaps there is a name that still lives quietly in your heart. Perhaps there is a dua you have repeated hundreds of times. Do not let that waiting pull you away from Allah. Let it bring you closer to Him. Do not let uncertainty steal your peace. Let uncertainty increase your trust. Do not spend your days chasing what you cannot control. Spend your days becoming the servant that Allah loves, because no effort made for Allah is ever wasted. Every prayer has value. Every sincere dua has value. Every act of patience has value. Every tear shed for His sake has value. Even if you cannot see the reward today, Allah never forgets. One of the most beautiful things about Allah's plan is that it often makes sense only after we have lived through it. Years later, you may look back and smile. You may remember the nights when you cried because a certain door remained closed. Then you will see the blessing that came because that door never opened. You will remember the people who walked away. Then you will thank Allah for protecting your heart from what could have harmed your faith. You will remember the delays that once frustrated you. Then you will realize that every delay was preparing you for something far more beautiful than you could have imagined. This is why the Quran repeatedly reminds us to trust Allah, because He knows while we do not know. Our vision reaches only a few steps ahead. His knowledge surrounds all of time. He sees the beginning and the end together. He knows the prayers you have not made yet. He knows the blessings you have not received yet. He knows the people you have not met yet. He knows the future that is already written. Subhanallah. What peace there is in knowing that your life is not being managed by chance, but by the most merciful. So, if Allah has placed your name in someone's heart, never let that become a reason to neglect your relationship with Him. Instead, let it become a reason to increase your gratitude, increase your salah, increase your dua, increase your patience, increase your trust. Because every blessing becomes more beautiful when it brings you closer to Allah instead of distracting you from Him. And if that person is truly part of the future Allah has written for you, then no fear is needed. No endless worrying. No desperate chasing. No losing yourself trying to hold on to them. Allah will bring what belongs to you in the way that is best for your dunya and your akhirah. And if He chooses a different path, know with complete certainty that His choice is always more merciful than your own. Perhaps He is protecting your heart. Perhaps He is protecting your faith. Perhaps He is preparing something greater than your imagination can reach. The believer does not measure success by whether a certain person stays. The believer measures success by whether their heart stays close to Allah, because when your heart belongs to Allah, you are never truly alone. When your hope rests in Allah, you are never truly hopeless. When your trust is placed in Allah, you are never truly lost. So continue making dua. Continue improving yourself. Continue walking toward Allah with sincerity. Leave every unseen matter in His perfect hands. For the one who writes every heartbeat also writes every meeting, every goodbye, every delay, every answered prayer, and every beautiful ending. May Allah fill our hearts with faith before He fills our hands with blessings. May He place us in the hearts of people who will help us remember Him, encourage us toward goodness, and bring peace to our lives. And may He protect our hearts from every connection that would pull us away from His guidance. Ameen. Never forget this beautiful promise. What Allah has written for you will never miss you. And what misses you was never meant to be yours. Trust Him. Walk toward Him. And let your heart find peace in knowing that the one who controls every heart is also writing your story with perfect wisdom, perfect mercy, and perfect love. Before we end, I want you to remember one thing. Maybe there is someone on your mind right now. Maybe there is a name that your heart quietly carries. Maybe you have spent countless nights wondering whether Allah has written that person for you, or whether you should simply let them go. Only Allah knows the answer. And perhaps that is exactly where your peace begins. Not in knowing everything, but in trusting the one who knows everything. Never forget, the greatest blessing is not that someone remembers your name. The greatest blessing is that Allah knows your name. He knows every prayer you have whispered through tears. He knows every heartbreak you never told anyone about. He knows every night you smiled in front of people while your heart was silently breaking. He knows the dreams you are afraid to speak aloud. And He has never abandoned you. Not for a single moment. If Allah has placed your name in the right heart, no distance can erase it. No obstacle can destroy it. No human being can take away what Allah has written. And if that person is not part of your destiny, trust that Allah is not taking something away from you. He is protecting you from a story that was never meant to become your forever. Because Allah never removes a blessing without preparing something better for the believer who trusts Him. So stop chasing what only Allah can bring. Stop fearing what only Allah controls. Stop carrying tomorrow on shoulders that were never created to carry it. Instead, carry your hopes to Allah. Carry your fears to Allah. Carry your tears to Allah. Carry your heart to Allah. For He is the one who never grows tired of listening, never grows tired of forgiving, never grows tired of answering the prayers of His servants. Perhaps the person you are praying for is already making dua for you without even knowing your name. Perhaps Allah is preparing both of your hearts at this very moment. Or perhaps He is writing an even greater blessing that your heart has not yet imagined. Whatever Allah has written, it will arrive at the perfect time. Not a day early, not a moment late, because His timing has never failed, and it never will. So keep praying, keep improving yourself, keep trusting Him, keep walking toward Allah, even when you cannot yet see the destination. Because every step you take toward Allah, Allah brings His mercy closer to you. May Allah fill your heart with unshakable faith. May He replace every fear with peace. May He replace every tear with hope. May He grant you a spouse, a family, and companions who bring you closer to Jannah. May He protect your heart from every relationship that weakens your iman. May He bless you with people who remind you of Him whenever you see them. May every unanswered dua be answered in the most beautiful way. May every delay become a source of barakah. May every hardship become a means of drawing you closer to Him. And may the day come when you look back at every moment of waiting and say, Ya Allah, your plan was more beautiful than anything I could have planned for myself. Ameen. If this reminder touched your heart, then don't let it stay only as a feeling. Let it become a change. Strengthen your relationship with Allah. Trust Him a little more. Pray with a little more sincerity. Hope with a little more certainty. Because the heart that belongs to Allah will never be left empty. Jazakumullahu khairan for watching. If this reminder benefited you, share it with someone who may need these words today. And if you're new to Deenpedia, subscribe and join us for more reminders that bring hearts closer to Allah. Until we meet again, May Allah keep your heart firm upon His guidance, fill your life with barakah, and grant you peace in this world and everlasting happiness in the hereafter. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.